Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought it would be a little bit of fun to try out something new. And this box has all of my quartz crystals on it with the runes, and I thought that I would pick them on camera for you guys so that you know kind of what you're picking when you do select the pile. But if you do want to skip that, there will be a point in the video where I have the runes laid out with the cards as per usual. So I'm just going to start by cleansing this space with holy water as per usual. And today the question is, what do you need to heal from? Okay, so here are the three runes that I picked. We have this one. Oh, I'm trying to get it to where you can see. That one. This one always comes out. And, well, oh my gosh. I promise I'll get the hang of this. Can you see it? Can you see it, maybe? Does that help? Not really. Come on. Okay, you know what? There, finally, okay. Sorry guys. So those are gonna be the three that I pick. Alright, stick around. Okay guys, so these are going to be the three piles. There's pile number 1, number 2, and number 3. So go ahead and pick whichever crystal, rune, or card calls to you the most. And then as per usual, I'll give you guys a moment to pick the pile and we'll get started with the reading. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get started with pile number 1. If you need more time, please just pause the video. So if you picked pile number 1, this reading is going to be for you. I'm going to go ahead and unveil the card and move the rune and all that good stuff. So this rune is all about this passionate energy and then also kind of this protective victory, overcoming challenges. And for me that really represented the Six of Wands, because the wands are just a super passionate suit, and then, you know, overcoming obstacles. This is like the victory parade that happens after that. So that's why I picked that. I'm going to go ahead and use the same tarot deck that I used the last video, which is the Wildwood Tarot. I like using that just because it's my collective energy deck instead of just all this energy that's completely from me, so it's a little bit more accurate. But I am going to cleanse with the holy water, so we have a fresh, accurate reading for you guys. And then the question is going to be, what do you need to heal from? So I'm going to start off with asking kind of what happened, and that way I can get an energy of what's going on that kind of caused, you know, the lingering trauma. Okay, so I haven't quite shuffled yet, but I already see this Three of Swords on the bottom of the deck, which is talking about heartbreak or jealousy. So keep that in mind. Okay. And then we have the Five of Stones on the bottom, which is endurance, or the Five of Pentacles in the original Waite Tarot deck, which would be about feeling left out in the cold, kind of disconnected, maybe feeling rejected. So let's see what kind of stuff we have going on. We have the Knight of Vessels, the Page of Arrows, the Nine of Arrows, with, I'm going to put these down here actually. The Nine of Arrows with the Page of Bows, and the Six of Bows, oh my gosh, which would be this card right here. Okay, so what happened here? I feel like you're the type of person that really puts themselves out there, maybe wears their heart on their sleeve. And the Nine of Arrows energy is dedication here in this deck, but in the original deck, it has a lot to do with maybe nightmares, having anxieties that keep you up all night, just right before you're kind of overwhelmed completely with bad energy. So it's just kind of holding out a little bit more than the 10, for example, but still having a really rough time. I think you're waiting for someone to come in with a message for you. Maybe someone that you had feelings for. It's like somebody who was possibly giving you some very indecisive energy. Like maybe they said one thing but then did another. And you really felt like if you communicated through love with them, the love that you had for them, then maybe they would approach you with this message and it would lead you to this abundance or victory with them. So you might still be waiting on them, which is part of the problem here, because the pages are more of an immature energy, you know, like I like to see the aces of the deck as more of the, like, this is the real offer, it's happening now, and the pages are more of like thinking about the offer, or maybe not quite the offer you want. So it's almost like you were just kind of waiting for this person to throw you any sort of bone. Like you were taking action and like sitting in this Knight of Cups energy of here's my emotions, I'm moving toward you, and you're just like, hey, if you could just give me just something to know that it's not all in vain, like I would feel like that's enough of a win for me to keep going. But that put you in a lot of anxious, disappointed energy is what I'm seeing. And feeling, again with that bottom of the deck, the Five of Pentacles energy, feeling really left out in the cold by this person, just hoping for anything there. So let's see what else is going on. Okay, Knight of Arrows on the bottom. Then we had, actually let me move these. The Great Bear in reverse, which would be Judgment. We have the Five of Bows. And then we have the Green Man with the Page of Vessels. So the Five of Bows in this deck is about empowerment. And in the original deck, it's more of like a chaotic conflict energy. I think this might have been internal conflict for you, because you were sitting there waiting, maybe knowing that you needed to kind of reevaluate the actions you were taking because it wasn't leading you to the Six of Wands like you hoped it would. And then with the Great Bear in reverse, Judgment, which is kind of a call to alignment, call to your divine purpose. You were noticing that whatever energy that you were sitting in was keeping you from being in your true power here. But also, since it is empowerment in this deck, I'm seeing that you're kind of taking your power back from the situation. And that's also leading you into a different kind of victory. Not necessarily the one that you expected, but nonetheless one that's going to probably be better for you and in your highest good. And then with the Green Man and the Page of Vessels, that will be the Emperor, and then an offer of love or an apology. I want to say that this is about you giving this kind of love energy to yourself, or maybe even, where is it? I can get it quickly. There we go. That Knight of Vessels energy, you know, it's just kind of taking a step back. Like maybe you're not chasing after this emotional fulfillment anymore. Maybe you've moved back into that Page energy where you're just kind of sitting and saying, you know what, I have this in myself already. I don't need to be going out and chasing everyone. It could also be that there is someone, it's either somebody new coming in with an offer of love, or, you know, it could be this person or even somebody from your past. But you are kind of, with the bottom of the deck energy, the Knight of Arrows, this is about communication and also very fast, quick action. Like this is happening within a matter of days. So I see you kind of, if you haven't already realized, you know, what has been going on here and how it's been kind of disempowering you, then you're about to realize it. If you have realized, then you're stepping back into that energy, which is bringing you to a whole new table of wonderful options for you, which is really great. So within the next few days, I see you kind of stepping back into your power and possibly even having someone new or reconciling with somebody old that come in with just this really nice, beautiful like apology or like a new message of love. But like I said, I do see pages of more of like an immature energy, I suppose. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's, you know, worthless, but it's not an Ace of Cups moment here. It's probably something small, just like a reconnection in a small way. I wouldn't expect, you know, like this declaration of love, even if it's just you healing yourself. Don't expect it to be 100% perfect right now. You know, you're taking small steps, which is perfectly fine. So what needs to be healed? Okay. Wow. Actually, I'm going to keep these. Yep. And then I'm going to put these away because there's 5 cards. And that's just too much to take on at the moment. Okay. So the bottom of the deck is the 7 of Cups, which is a mourning energy. In the original deck, that would be having like a lot of options and maybe even kind of overthinking where things could go wrong or where things could go right, you know, just kind of all over the place. Which really ties into this 2 of Arrows energy that came out, which is the Injustice or Indecision card. So you might be going back and forth in your energy. Let's see what else I can get. Well, we have the Page of Stones. So what do you know? All the pages have come out. You're really in this sort of place where you're looking at all of your different options, not really sure where to go with it. But with the Ace of Arrows coming out with the Sun of Life, I see you making a decision very soon about which direction you want to be headed. And then the King of Stones, the 4 of Vessels, and the Ace of Vessels is talking about moving into a place where you're much more stable for yourself, and in return you're moving out of this like bored energy or feeling, you know, very solemn about the current situation and into an Ace of Vessels moment. So that Page of Vessels moment that happened earlier that I said is coming soon is probably going to turn into an Ace of Vessels. I want to say it's going to be rather unexpected too. And then we have the Seer, which is the High Priestess. Oh, the 5 of Stones came out like it did earlier, that Endurance card. And then the Green Woman, the Empress. So I'm also seeing a transition here from the Seer to the Green Woman, which would be the High Priestess to the Empress. I think, you know, this acting energy is much off of your intuition and sort of the 5D reality of like spirituality. And the Empress embodies all of the Queen energies, but she's much better about taking on more of a masculine role, I would say, where she's good about taking action and kind of viewing what's going on the surface and kind of what actions are being taken rather than just what's being said or how she feels in order to make decisions. So I think this situation where you were kind of acting as the Knight of Cups and having to pull yourself back because that person wasn't reciprocating or they were saying one thing and doing another has now pushed you into this Empress energy, which is really great because even though the circumstance is a little bit sad, it's good to be able to act in both these energies. They're both extremely powerful roles, and having a good handle on both of them is really good. So overall, what I want to say for you guys, what needs to be healed right now is your self-confidence, your self-esteem, and then see what else, your heart for sure, like maybe do some heart chakra meditations. I see a lot of disappointment kind of hanging around your energy field. Things aren't exactly what you hoped they would be, but they are going to lead ultimately to the 6 of Wands, 6 of Bows energy. Like it's going to work out fine. I do see that Ace of Vessels coming in for you eventually, but you just need to take some time to heal all of those things first. So whether or not that's a reconciliation with this person, or if it's somebody completely new, like you'll get whatever is in your highest good, and that's really great. So thanks so much guys for watching this video. I'm going to leave it there, and I'll see you in the next one. Alright, hey Pile 2, welcome to your reading. So again, the question is going to be, what do you guys need to heal right now? So I'm just going to start off by spraying some holy water to cleanse the energies. And then the way it's going to go is I'm going to ask what you guys like experienced that caused the need for healing, and then I'll move into the actual specifics of what needs to be healed, and maybe even a little bit of advice to go from there. Oh, almost forgot. So this rune is the Tower, and I picked the Tower card because this rune talks about having some unwanted temporary disruptions in your life, but they're all for the better. So even though it seems a little bit overwhelming at first, it's all for the best. So I'm going to get started with what happened that caused the need for healing. Okay. Let's talk about this. We have Judgment and we have Justice. Interesting. And then we have the Six of Arrows, which is Transition. The Two of Bows, Fulfillment in reverse. Oh, sorry, the Three of Bows. And the Three of Vessels, Joy. So clearly this Tower card matches this transition energy that's happening. Maybe there's some changes that are taking place in your life to kind of bring you more towards your aligned purpose. I'm seeing finding balance in your life, as well as kind of moving into alignment with your divine purpose. You might have had some friendships end, or you might have had started some projects that might have fallen through. A lot of endings in order to kind of bring you to this transition, to get you to focus on the things that are going to be more aligned with your purpose and mission, and things that are, you know, well with your soul and all that good stuff. We also have the Hooded Man on the bottom of the deck, which is the Hermit energy, and that talks about kind of withdrawing and needing to heal, which is perfect for this. So you guys might have had some things end unexpectedly that kind of shocked you, like a lot of maybe your foundations crumbled at once, or a lot of things that you thought were going to go one way just kind of took you off guard and went a completely different way. Okay, so let's see what needs to heal here. Okay, so we have the Guardian in reverse, which would be the Devil. We have the Forest Lovers in reverse with the Moon on Water, the Moon. And we have the Six of Stones, the Six of Pentacles in reverse, which is exploitation. So, there might have been a relationship that ended, I'm seeing. Maybe unexpectedly. There was some codependencies in the relationship that needed to be healed. There was a lot of unnecessary fears too. I feel like, I'm not sure if, there was definitely imbalances in the relationship, that's for sure. Like maybe someone was giving more than they needed to, someone was taking more than they should have. Definitely some issues there. There's the Knight of Vessels on the bottom of the deck, so maybe someone was a bit emotionally unavailable, and it caused a really super weird dynamic in the relationship, and that had to end. But I see that the biggest problem was actually just a lot of like repression and fears. So maybe the person who was more emotionally unavailable, you know, didn't express the kind of feelings they had for you, or the other way around, and then in return that other person kind of withdrew and created a narrative in their head because they weren't sure what was going on, and it just caused issues to kind of keep piling up on each other. Let's see, the codependencies between the two of you. There could have been some addictions involved. There could also be some just self-sabotage in general that kind of happened that led to this Tower moment in the relationship, which could have resulted in a breakup, or you guys might still be together, but it caused like a huge fight where some changes needed to happen. The Force Lovers in reverse also talks about needing to find self-worth and self-love. So you guys might have had some issues there with your confidence and whatnot. Okay, the bottom of the deck is the Six of Bows, which is abundance. It's also the Victory card. So we have the Seven of Bows, which is clearance. That's also the Seven of Wands, which means kind of standing up for what you believe in against all odds, against all obstacles to sort of get to the outcome that you desire. The Queen of Arrows, the Queen of Swords. We also have the Eight of Vessels Rebirth with the Four of Bows Celebration. Really cool energy, guys. We have the Ten of Arrows, which is referred to as instruction here, but I also see it as that Ten of Swords energy, which is more about like kind of having this culmination of pain that needs to be healed. And then we have the Five of Bows, empowerment. It's also a chaotic energy and maybe some conflict going on. So what I do see first of all is this Queen of Swords energy, and it doesn't have to be female, it could be either gender, but that's about coming into a time of patience, reestablishing your boundaries, self-worth, and overall just figuring out who you are and where you want to go with life. You know, it's a very strong, independent energy. It could have been brought about by this Tower moment, which might have caused, you know, a lot of pain either in your connection with someone or just for you in general. But that put you in this like Queen of Arrows, Seven of Bows energy where you felt like you needed to protect yourself and protect what you desired and your highest good. And then, yeah, that was probably also brought on about a lot of conflict when maybe a lot of towers kind of fell at once. Maybe you felt like a lot of foundations kind of crumbled at once, and that brought on a lot of this pain too, or maybe even just one huge moment that was really painful for you guys. However, I am seeing that you're moving already into this rebirth energy, and the Four of Bows is about stability and kind of that end of the day, like celebration, as well as that kind of like structure. It's funny because in the original Rider-Waite deck, the Four of Bows is sort of a house structure. It talks about divine timing and kind of reaching fulfillment. So as you can see, like even though you had a lot of towers, foundations crumble, like you're moving towards this rebirth into a better structure, you know, one that's more withstanding and one that would provide you with a lot more abundance. So I see that you guys are already starting to heal, and it started when you put your boundaries back up and reevaluated what it is that you wanted after all of this happened. Let's see if I can get any advice for you guys about sort of moving forward. Because, I mean, truly you guys are just already well on your way. And what needs to be healed is your sense of routine and structure, because everything was kind of shaken up and now you need to reestablish normalcy. Okay, we have the Three of Stones on the bottom, which is creativity. It's also about work and working with other people, collaboration. So we have the Five of Vessels, ecstasy. And we have the Nine of Bows in reverse, respect. So what's interesting is that the Five of Vessels is the Five of Cups in the original deck here. And that's talking about kind of mourning and sadness and kind of looking at the negatives in life, but I truly prefer this ecstasy card here. I think, though, with this Nine of Bows energy, which is respect in reverse here, I think you're learning how to hold respect for yourself again. Like, you feel maybe a little bit out of touch with yourself. Maybe if we bring in the original meaning here, you might be focusing still on all of the towers that are crumbling instead of the ones that are still left standing. And it's hard for you to kind of move out of some wallowing energy. But I do see that you're getting there, you know, like it's definitely progressing, but that's what you would need to focus on here, is just remembering the things that are meant to be withstanding are still there for you. You know, you're not completely alone. Not everything has crumbled in your life. There's still some support there. And that's what you should be focusing on right now, as well as rebuilding your self-worth and figuring out kind of how you want to move forward. So that's what I'm seeing for you guys. I'm going to just leave it there. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey Pile 3, if you picked the last card, quartz, or rune on the right there, this reading is going to be for you. So the card I picked is the Ace of Wands, because this rune talked about discovering inspiration and kind of moving forward with that, and that was really the Ace of Wands energy for me. So I'm going to start off by cleansing the area with holy water, just to kind of freshen the energy so we get clear messages from your spirit team. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to ask firstly what happened to cause the need for healing, and then I'll move into what needs to be healed and even pull some advice for you guys. So what happened that caused the need for healing? Okay, so on the bottom of the deck we have the Two of Arrows, which is injustice. It's also about indecision. Okay, so we have the Queen of Stones, the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. We have the King of Stones with the Ace of Vessels. We also have the Three of Bows, fulfillment. And we have the Guardian or the Devil with the Page of Bows. So let's see what's happening here. So what I'm seeing for you guys is that you might have come to a place where you need to make a decision about how to move forward in your life, and then you kind of got stuck in this Page of Bows energy. I'm feeling like this had a lot to do with self-limiting beliefs. Maybe you sort of jinxed yourself is the energy here. You could have felt very unstable in one area of your life. You might have even tried to bring somebody else in to provide you with emotional fulfillment, but you can only provide that to yourself. So there were some issues there. This could have been a relationship. It could have just been a friendship too. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. But I see you searching for validation and comfort outside of your own self here, and that caused a lot of like codependency issues as well. So let's see what else happened here. have Eight of Bows, and that's Hearthfire. That's also a card about communication and taking action. And then we had two other kings pop out, the King of Arrows and the King of Bows, which are masculine energies, not necessarily male or female. And they represent ambition and communication. So this could have been a project that got stalled, maybe an issue in your career. Let's see. What else happened here? So we have the Sun with ecstasy. I'm going to pull a couple more cards. Okay, we have the Knight of Vessels on the bottom. We have the Queen of Arrows in reverse. We also have the Great Bear, which is Judgment. And the Four of Vessels, Boredom, in reverse. Okay, so what I'm getting here is that your feminine energy is definitely not very aligned right now. You could be dealing with somebody in your life who is a female that you're having some issues with. Somebody who, let's see, somebody who might be very vocal about your limitations, like someone who's very critical of you, is what I want to say. Or could have been somebody in your past who's been very critical of everything that you did. I want to say it could be, I don't know, it could be a motherly figure. I didn't pull the Empress, so maybe not that. But someone who kind of criticized your ability to be stable on your own and really caused a lot of issues for yourself and trying to find your own worth and emotional value. And now you have a really hard time connecting with other people. So you might be someone who tries to focus more on what you're passionate about and moves into like a harsher energy. It kind of has a hard shell. I feel like even when you do connect with someone in this Knight of Vessels energy, what ends up happening is you allow yourself to move into this codependent energy. You might ask this person to kind of fill the hole that Queen energy felt, and that has a lot to do with you being out of alignment and your own feminine energy, which probably was caused, by that figure. You don't really know what it looks like to be like a divine feminine or hold divine feminine energy. So when you do try to reach out with the Ace of Vessels card, when you do try to connect with people, you have a very hard time because holding on to or exhibiting nurturing, loving energy isn't something that you're used to because you've never really seen it. So it's very hard for you to find fulfillment and really find like true happiness and ecstasy. I think it's put you in this Page of Bows energy where you have a very hard time, you're just kind of waiting for someone to bring you something that makes you feel passionate and excited about life, but that's not going to come because you haven't healed yourself yet. So let's see what else is going on here. What needs to heal? Okay, we have the Eight of Vessels Rebirth on the bottom. So I just also wanted to add, if you have like a fine relationship with your mother, then that obviously is not going to be for you. This could be an old relationship or a friendship. Could be male or female, really. Just someone who is supposed to exhibit like loving feminine energy towards you and then kind of was critical or and whatnot left you with some pain. So take what resonates there. But we have the Stag, which is strength, the 5 of Arrows, frustration, the 10 of Vessels, happiness in reverse, and the 3 of Arrows, jealousy in reverse. Okay. You're a person who's very hard on themselves. I can tell that you're searching for ultimate happiness, but you're coming up very frustrated because your heart really needs to be healed. You know, you've moved past whatever event this was or whatever traumatic thing occurred to kind of cause you to be out of touch with your feminine energy and your emotions, but you haven't let go of it. It's been there for a while. It's kind of collecting cobwebs at this point, right? So it's like you feel like you should be someone who's very strong to pull yourself out of this. You might even realize that this has been blocking you in life, but you're having a hard time healing from it still, and it's causing you to be extremely frustrated and have a lot of conflict come up in your life. But there's also that rebirth energy that I pulled from the bottom of the deck. So I think you're going through a transition in your life right now that is bringing this whole situation to your attention in order for you to heal from it. So that's good news. At least you are aware now and you're able to start moving past it. Because this has probably been blocking, you know, a lot of this Wands energy even, which is interesting because it's not only just your emotional side that's being blocked, but your ability to feel passionate or inspired about something has been blocked because you've just created or left a hole in your heart. Let's see what else I can pull for advice or what needs to heal. Okay, they're not really much for talking about this, which is interesting. But we have the Archer on the bottom, which is the Chariot, and that's about moving forward. We have the Page of Vessels, and we have the Page of Stones in reverse. Interesting. Okay, so 2 pages. One's in reverse. Cool. Okay. So the Page of Vessels is the Page of Cups. The Page of Stones would be the Page of Pentacles. And what that's saying to me is that you really need to focus more on your emotional endeavors more than maybe career or financial. You might be had, you know, as I was saying earlier, they had a hard time connecting with their more feminine emotional side, so they turned towards establishing themselves in a career to kind of overcompensate for the loss of self-worth. That being said, now it's time to kind of let go of that because you probably have gotten to a point where you're established, or even if you're not, you need to start paying more attention to this Page of Cups energy and providing yourself with emotional fulfillment through your own words of affirmation is what I'm getting. Or whatever your love language is, that's what you need to seek, but within yourself. Stop looking for it with other people. So that's what I'm getting for you guys. I'm going to leave the video here. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time.